Hello, welcome to my channel, Zen and Fit. If you're new, please hit the like and subscribe button to support more content on my channel. Today I'm going to be going into part 2 of the health disparities segment. As a recap, health disparities are preventable differences in the burden of disease, injury, violence, or opportunities to achieve optimal health that are experienced by socially disadvantaged populations. So, today I actually want to dive a little bit further in discussing chronic diseases and also touching a little bit on mental health disparities that arise among communities of color, particularly Black communities. There's a lot of research studies that have been conducted looking at the connection between racial discrimination and poor health outcomes, the connection between the two. For example, children of color are more likely to experience obesity, childhood obesity, especially if they have been discriminated against because of their skin color. So, dealing with this kind of discrimination, even from childhood, has significant implications for that person's health trajectory moving forward. Discrimination is a stressful life event. Research shows this. And furthermore, the research shows that discrimination does create negative effects on our health, just like other stressful life experiences can. And so discrimination can lead to worsening mental health outcomes as well as physical health outcomes. Think about it. If a person is constantly being discriminated against, feeling like they're in a pressure cooker where everywhere they go, they're dealing with microaggressions, racism, discrimination, that takes a toll on your physical health and also your mental health. I mean, you're dealing with this kind of stress on a consistent basis, so that does have dire effects on our health. Years ago, I remember watching a documentary series on health disparities. And I can't remember if it was on PBS. I can't recall the actual source because I remember it was it was a public health course I had taken at that time. But I remember one of the people that was being interviewed in this documentary, this Black physician, this Black male physician, was talking about his experiences in life and how, yes, he's a medical doctor and he's accomplished a lot in his life. However, everywhere he goes, when he's running errands in the community, let's say, for example, if he's going to a grocery store, people just see him as a Black man and they're intimidated by him. They have certain biases of him. And so that affects his overall health. Black men in particular have some of the worst health profiles and shortest life expectancies out of all race and gender groups in the United States. Black men are more likely to encounter racism related type of stressors. And for this reason, they have shorter life expectancies in comparison to other racial groups as well as in comparison to other genders. I want to put this in perspective for a second in regards to the life expectancies. So for white men, the average life expectancy in the United States is about 76 years. For Black men, it's 70 years. So that's a pretty significant difference in life expectancies. So when you're hearing news articles talking about how people are living longer, they may be actually basing that data off of white men or basically non-Black males. And also when you think about it when it comes to even Social Security retirement, I believe Social Security retirement right now, to qualify for that, is like in the late 60s. And I think the US is even proposing to expand that out to age 70. So think about that. For Black men who have paid into Social Security retirement, a lot of them are probably not going to be fully reaping the benefits of Social Security if that does come into play, because if they're, already starting to die off by that time, they're not really getting any retirement benefits. I just wanted to put that into perspective, to think about that, because you hear all the time, oh, people are living longer, but they're not always factoring in people of color, and especially Black men. Black women are also affected by racism related stress. For example, Black women in the United States are over 50% more likely to deliver a premature baby in comparison to white women. Also, just over 14% of Black women have premature birth rates, whereas that only affects 9% of white women. This reflects a significant disparity between Black women and white women. Even when you factor in income levels as well as education, this doesn't fully explain the disparities that can be seen as far as premature birth rates between Black women and white women. And I also just want to make a note that premature births are one of the most common causes of infant mortality in the United States. And you see in real time that basically racism related stress is significantly contributing to jeopardizing that baby's life. Being born premature can have some long lasting effects, even into adulthood. For some premature infants, they're at a higher risk, unfortunately, of developing chronic diseases, and they're even at a higher risk of experiencing an early death in their adult years. So it just shows that, this is serious if a person is born premature. And just in general, going back to just chronic diseases, there's a lot of research that's been conducted that basically suggests that people who are experiencing racism, it really does damage their physical health because it's triggering stress hormones, and it's creating a chain of biological events that causes premature aging and also increases the risk of developing chronic diseases. And I know I talked about chronic diseases in my first part of the health disparities segment that I covered, where I was talking about, I think it was like hypertension and diabetes, which are, both chronic diseases. And so you can see how all of this is interconnected with each other. If you're constantly on a flight or fight mode, that takes a toll on your physical health as well as your emotional well being, because you're constantly stressed and your body eventually is gonna cave in because it's tired of constantly being on this survival on edge mode. Our mental health is so important because it does affect so many aspects of our lives. It impacts how we think and feel, how we handle stress. So, when we have a mental health problem, it can make things much more difficult and can also impact your physical health, because if you're not feeling well emotionally, you're feeling drained to the point of where you're feeling, let's say, clinically depressed. This also can impact your physical health because your mind and body are definitely connected with each other. And so, like, for example, if like mental health issues are left untreated, this can also complicate any chronic health conditions a person has. Because maybe if you're, let's say, depressed and you're not feeling up to caring for your diabetic needs, your diabetes worsens, and that's a trickle down effect, contributing to other health complications. So it just shows that health disparities, it's really important to take note of and be aware of. and be attuned to your mental health as well as your physical health so that you can try to mitigate where you can, where you have control, because you can't control how other people think or perceive you, or try to change people's biases, but having an awareness of how these microaggressions and racism related stress can impact you physically and emotionally can at least help you try to identify, even if it's small little factors that can help reverse some of these issues that can impact your health. In the future, I may make a video covering, or I should say, exploring potential ways of navigating racism related stress by identifying more specific coping strategies, but we'll see. If you're interested in a video like that, please let me know in the comments section below. Of course, it's not supposed to be in place of any type of therapy services, but it's just kind of exploring and reviewing, possible suggestions of how to navigate this system that we're living in. If you like this video, if you could please hit the like and subscribe button, that would be great, because that actually enables me to make more content on my channel. And also, if you could share my videos with friends or family members who maybe would be interested in listening to these types of topics, I would definitely appreciate that. And until next time, I hope you all take care.